Okay, so this is just part two of going over the ladder, the depth of market. Okay, so what happened here is all we had was these bids down here at 100, which was not that big of a deal, right? There's not a lot of support buy there. But what happened here, we had 5,000 shares pop up on 28.36. Now, is that a much bigger increase than we've seen lately? Yeah, it is. So could it be a spoof? It sure could be. How do we determine whether it's a spoof or not? Well, it's probably not a spoof because, number one, that is where people are going to sell into, right? So that's too dangerous for them to put a spoof there. Usually, not usually, 99% of the time, you're going to see spoofs be under another bid. So if you saw something here at 28.30, so this is you got 5,000 shares here looking to be bought at 28.36, and at 28.30 you see a number there pop up 1,000 or 500 or some other big number, right, compared to what the other numbers are. That's where you're going to be guessing whether it's a possible spoof, right? Here, it's most likely not a spoof because that's where we're trading. Okay, so let's play this out. And once these shares came in, how are we going to verify that those shares got sold into? Right. Well, we're going to see the time of sale. So let's watch for a bunch of for 5,000 shares to get filled at 28.36. So let's check that out. And look what happened to the price once those shares came in. Okay, now that number disappeared, right? It was at 28.36. We had a number 50 there. So let's take a look and see what happened here. There's 831 at 28.36, right? Another 65 at 28.36. 70, 400, 100, 100. Keep in mind, they can split that up into many different transactions. And most people don't realize whenever you buy 1,000 shares, it's not always all done in one transaction. Even though it happens instantaneously, it can be shown on the time and sales in many different transactions. So that's what we're looking at to make sure that it wasn't a spoof. So yeah, we did see a lot of shares bought there at 28.36, right? And now what are we seeing? Well, we're also seeing 38, 39, 48, 41, 47. This is what we're looking for, right? What does that tell you? That tells you, man, this thing is very bullish. People are rocketing this thing up. Now instead of willing to pay, earlier they were looking at, whatever it was, 26 something was where the bids are. Now people are just fine buying it at 28.50, 28.60, 28.78, right? That's what we're looking for, okay? So let's continue this on. Now we got people buying at $29, 29.20, 29.03, 28.75, right? That's what we're looking for. Okay, let's stop it here again and just take a look at what's going on. So this is the bullish thing that I was talking about. So this 28.75 level, right? These people here at this 2 and this 1, 200 shares and 100 shares, they don't want to wait. They don't want to get here and get behind these 3,400 shares. Why don't they want to wait? Well, they don't want to wait because they're afraid that they're not going to get filled. If they enter here, these 3,400 shares have to get filled before they get filled. And they see this thing rocketing on up. So they want to get their shares filled right now. So they're trying to entice these sellers to sell into them at these levels, right? They don't want to wait here. So that's the type of bullish stuff that you're looking for. When you see this larger support number down here and people not wanting to wait and getting in up here, that's what we're looking for on the ladder, okay? One of the things, of course. So let's play it on that a little bit more, see what happens. So what ended up happening is this guy down here trying to pick up 3,400 shares at wherever he was down here, he didn't get filled, all right? So this thing's just continuing to go on up, so he just missed the boat. I'm going to keep it on going here. We'll see what happens. And so this is when you're going to see that big difference of your bid and your ask, right? So the volume, even though the relative volume is good compared to what it has done in recent history, right? Relative volume is fabulous. Volume's starting to come into the stock. It's still not super heavy volume. So this is why you're seeing this big spread. So right now, I don't know if it's going to show that up. 29, yeah, it does. Okay, right here. So it does. It shows your bid and your ask here. That's why you have this big spread. is 28.90 and 29.30 because your first bid is at 28.90 and your first sell ask is at 29.30. So that's your spread. Now, when volume starts pouring into this thing and it's just crazy volume, you'll see that spread get much thinner, down to where it should be 1 or 2 pennies. But keep in mind, I believe, yeah, we're still in pre-market here, so that could be part of the problem. Okay, now why is it going down right now? So these sellers are thinking, okay, I'm not so sure how much further it's going to continue going up, so I'm going to go ahead and start selling in to these guys that are looking to buy down here. So they're selling into this 28.97, 28.90, 28.88. They're selling into it, right, into these lower ones. And if you look at the ladder, just take that red candle out of your mind for a second. If you look at the ladder, we're trading at right this second 28.88. Well, where's our first buy? We've got a buy here, 100 shares at 29. So we might, we can expect to see that this at least jumps back up to 29 bucks, right? Before it possibly goes back down to 28.78. That makes sense? Okay, let's play this out a little bit and see what happens. Okay, so what can make that price, since we thought that price, keep in mind, I don't know what this thing's doing. I just know that it went up for the day, okay? I don't know what it's doing this second. So why did that price jump up instead of go back down to where we thought that it could go back down? Well, it could be one of those two things that we talked about earlier. It could have been that traders like you and I, we decided, hey, this thing ripped yesterday. I know that's what it's doing right now. It's getting ready to rip. So I don't care that there's a bid down here. There's a low bid down here at 28, whatever it was, right? I'm going to go ahead and buy up here where the first sellers are. I'm going to buy this 29.42 or 29, wherever it was, right? So that's what it could be. Or it could be some of those hidden sales, right? So let's hit play again. Let's see how this plays out. Again, watch that ladder. Don't focus too much on the candle. Watch the ladder. Okay, so what just happened here? So we had a little bit of buy support here, not very much, and then boom, we have another 1,200 shares looking to be picked up at this 29.58 level, okay? And this was an old resistance level, this 29.69, and we just broke through that. So let's see what happens when we break through that resistance level. One of two things typically happen, and I would say from my experience, a lot of times when you make a new high, which it just did here, okay, so a new high for the day, all right? A lot of times when it does that, especially around that $30 organic level, a lot of times you'll see that get sold into, and it'll go right back down. Same thing I see happen a lot of times when it hits a new low for the day. When it hits a new low for the day, people will have those on their scanners. They say, they set their scanner up. I want to see a new low of the day. I want to see a new high of the day. And what are they doing? So when they see a new high of the day, they're typically either looking for a breakout, right? Or they're looking to maybe short because it's a high of the day. When they're looking for the low ones, they're looking to go long in those low ones most of the time because they think, hey, this is pretty cheap. It's the lowest price it's been all day. So they have those things set up. And so that's why we'll oftentimes see when a new low of the day gets hit, it'll have at least a temporary bounce back up and then maybe continue the downtrend on down. When we have a new high of the day, a lot of times, if there's not a lot of energy in the stock, which right now I wouldn't say there's a ton of energy. This volume bar is only 15,000 shares, right? That's not a ton of energy. I mean, it's a ton of energy compared to what it's been doing lately, but overall, it's not a ton of energy, right? So my guess would be that this might get sold off here, which is what, it's right around that $30 level, okay? And it made a new high of the day. So let's play this out and see what happens. As far as the ladder goes, though, the ladder tells me that it should drop back down to 29.58 and might get bought back up from there, okay? That's if all these shares get sold into, and then you have more buyers coming in here to push it back up. So let's see what happens here. We also have that resistance there at 29.69. Okay, let's take a look at time and sales real quick, just to see what's going on. Okay, so we have the majority here, I would say, is buys, right? So where is everybody buying? We got 62, 60, or really, let's just look at the bigger ones. So we have 64, we have 70, we have 72, 72, and where are we trading? So we're trading right around 29.76. So these guys are still pretty bullish on this thing. They're buying at 76, 72, 75. So let's play this out and see how it goes. Now, when you see this on the ladder, I didn't pause it fast enough. So just a second ago, we didn't have these two ones here, right? We just had the one down here. Is that going to make you nervous? Yeah, for sure. If you don't have any buy support here, your first buy support is at 29.35. What can happen? Well, if one of these sellers decides to sell into that 29.35, guess what's going to happen to that price? You're going to see a big fat red candle go down to that 29.35 level, right? Or wherever that is, right around here or something. 29.35 right there. So we can see it pull back to there, right? So let's play it out. But I stopped it too late and these two jumped in. So now we've got a buyer at 29.75, 29.67. I'm just going through this so you guys can kind of learn or know what I'm thinking when I'm looking at the ladder. So we pretty much almost exactly are resisting on that 29.69 level here. Okay, let's pause again and just take a look at what's going on. Okay, so we have sellers looking to sell at 29.39 and 29.29. Where are we trading? Right now we're trading at 29.18, okay? Where's our first support buyer at? 29.01, 28.77, not looking good. Let's confirm that with time and sales, right? Let's look over here. So we have people selling at 29.51, 44. We have a little bit of buyers at 57, little 74. But you don't have, if you look there, you don't have a ton of buyers, right? You've got 10, 30, 30, 4, 20. It's nothing. 7, 5, 1, 1. It's nothing. Look at your sales. 100, 100, 100, 123, 100, 100 here. We had a big buyer here at 999. Maybe that's what bumped it up because it did fall back down here and then got bought right back up. So it's probably this dude here with his 999 shares there. But you pretty much here have a lot more people, individual people looking to sell than you do buy. So let's see how that plays out because that can change in an instant, right? As we know. So keep an eye on that ladder. And keep an eye on the time of sales just to see so you can get a feel of what's going to happen. Let's let this play out a little bit longer. So we have a little bit of buy support at 29.14. So my expectation is for that price to go to 29.14 unless somebody else jumps in here. So now we went to 29.34. Now we're at 29.50. That 29.34 didn't get filled. Then we got to 29.50. So there he is back down there again at 29.34, right? So my expectation is for this to drop back down to 29.34 minimum, which it certainly did. And now we have very little buy support. And let's pause it here so we can take a look at time and sales. So look at time and sales. Okay, look at all the green ones, right? They're all small numbers. 100's the biggest number so far. We have 100, 200, 300, 400. So we have 4 400s. And maybe another, 200 or 300 if you combine all the other buys, right? But look at your sales. 203, 100, 124, 462, 175, 363, 413, 247, 753. You guys starting to catch this? how informative this thing can be, right? So, this is why I could tell you, even if I wasn't even looking at the chart, I could tell you with pretty good accuracy what the candles are doing just based off of looking at time and sales and the ladder. So let's see how this plays out. Looking pretty bearish right now, right? Let's see how it plays out. Now we'll start to see if it's going to get bought up here. So we're still at 29 or 28.98, a little bit of support at 28.76. Let's go into, I'm going to fast forward to the bell. Let's see where that gets us. It may take a minute to load. Fast forward a little bit too much, but that's okay. Okay, so this is where we were trading before. We're looking at this. That's where we pulled back at that 29.69 pre-market. Ended up selling off pre-market. So let's watch a little bit here at the bell whenever we are getting a lot more volume, a lot more action, right? I guess I better hit play, huh? So are y'all seeing that where those 2,000 shares got bought up there? So as you can see, this thing can start moving pretty quickly. But as I said before, you can always zoom out if it starts getting out of range. You can zoom out a little bit, watch what's going on. Okay, so where's our major support here? So this is pretty good, right? So our major support, buy support, is at 30.15. But you got a lot of buyers here not wanting to wait until those shares get filled at 30.15, right? You have a wisher here at 29.90. He's not going to get filled there, most likely. So, and most likely, if you put some shares at 30.15, you're probably not going to get filled there either. And if you do put some shares there, when you get filled, likely what's happened, right? If you get filled there, you're likely going to get filled, and then it's going to continue to go down. Because it's got to come, the price has to come all the way down here, so it's on a very short-term downtrend. And if it buys all these 4,500 shares up, and then buys your 1,000 shares or however much you're buying, those get sold in too as well. Well, you're probably looking at a pretty big sell situation, right? So I don't know that putting in an order here is a really good idea unless that is a key support area, okay, where you might be looking for a possible bounce, or for some reason on this on demand it doesn't show up the volume on the side here, but it will show the volume here when you're trading normally, so you can see maybe this is where the majority of the shares were bought here recently at this 30.15. Maybe this is that support level everybody was buying in at, right? So let's see how this shakes out. But anyway, right now, to me, the ladder looks pretty bullish. And you can confirm that with your time and sales. Look, it just keeps going up. 28, 29, 30, 36, 40. Let's play this out a little bit and see what happens. And this is in real time. This is what it would look like if you were trading it that day. Everything is moving at this speed. Okay, so why are we going down, right? Let's see why we're going down. So we're going down because what happened is we still have this buyer down here at 30.22, right? He's our support buyer. And this could be many different people. Doesn't have to be just one person. But we don't have a ton of support here. We do have some here, but not here. So what's happening is the reason it's going down is these sellers are thinking, hey, I don't know if this thing's going to go up anymore. So we're going to start selling into these buys, right? And we got this buy support down here, so maybe this 31.72 might be a pretty good deal. I'm getting 50 cents more than this 30.22, so I'm going to start selling to this guy. And then once this guy's sold into and he's gone, well, if nobody else comes in there or here, then where's the next price they're going to get sold into? Right here, 31.22. So this is why it's going down until you start to see these bigger numbers down here that hopefully will hold a little support for you. So let's keep playing this out and see how it works. So now that guy has moved his price down. Did you see that? He was at 32 something up here, and now he's got a little worried. So he put his shares back down to 30.11. You guys notice that? So those are things that you want to take a look at. Is your support buyer, right? Kind of where you have the majority of your bids at. Are they walking their price down, or are they not getting filled and having to walk their price up? Well, this guy's walking his price down, right? And we see on the time and sales, lots of sales coming in, right? 324, 377 versus 123, 50, 19, 31. I mean, we got 600, 400, 500, 250, right? So you guys are obviously noticing that, I'm sure. So let's keep playing this out a little bit. Okay, we just missed it. But we had somebody come in here at 30.75, I believe it was, with a nice big fat buy order. Okay, so this is what we're watching for. Right now, the ladder looks bullish. And why does it look bullish? So don't worry about these guys down here too much, right? So we're looking at this 61 number and this 30 number. So this 30 guy, or guys, or girls, or whatever, like I said, I just say guy because it's easier to say, person it's easier to say than it's probably, it could be several people looking to buy these 3,000 shares, right? Or it could be one person. But this 30 guy, he doesn't want to wait for the 61 guy to get all the way filled before he gets filled at $30. So he's bumped up here to 30.50. Well, you got two other people saying, well, hey, man, I'm not waiting for 3,000 shares to get filled, so I'm going to bump up here to 30.75, 31. All bullish, all looking good. And you can kind of see that, you know, they're buying it up, and then sellers are coming in, selling it back down. Buying it up, selling it back down. And that's what's going on here on the ladder. You still got your guy at $30 too. And he's not getting filled. You want to watch these numbers getting walked up. You want to see these bigger numbers. This guy's going to get tired of waiting here in a minute, and he's going to bump up to whatever, right? If this thing starts going up, he's going to end up bumping his up, which looks like he already did. So now he went from $30 even to $30.19. I don't know if y'all noticed that. And also, just in the corner of your eye, you know, if you're mainly watching at this point, you're mainly watching the candles, and you're watching the ladder. At least out of the corner of your eye, you can see how much red versus green you have over here on your time and sales. So now this guy has bumped he's back down to 30.11 now. But these other ones are getting walked up. See how they're walking their bids up? Very bullish. And you don't have a huge amount of sellers looking to sell here. Yeah, there's some, but it's not, you know, it's not something that's going to make you nervous yet. And you can see you've got a lot more buying going on right now than you do selling at this very moment. You know, like I said, that can change in 1 second. So did you see what I said? How everything looked bullish, right? I just paused it. Everything looked bullish on the ladder. Time of sales looked bullish, right? And what did it do? So it went down here and got bought right back up, you know, to this area. It ended up closing here. So I think that I'm going to stop there. Let's look real quick at some questions, and I'll look at that BBIG. I think you guys should have the hang of it, or at least you know what to look for with my explanation. I just don't want to get redundant where I'm going over the same exact stuff, because, you know, we could sit here and do this, you know, for 3 hours straight on, you know, but hopefully y'all have the idea. And if you don't, we can have another session to where we get a little bit more technical. We dive in a little bit deeper. But let me grab some questions here. Stay with me, two kitties. I will look at that BBIG. So AQ Man says time and sales gives me the best, most real feel for what's going on. Absolutely, yeah. The ladder and time and sales, man. I'm telling you. Once I started using it, well, when I first started using it, I was a little bit lost. You know, it's tough when you very first start using it to know what you're looking at, because, you know, it can really move fast. So, but after I got used to it, I don't know how I ever traded without them. They're so key and so informative as to what's going on that, man, you almost have to know what's happening. Look at this big order here, or this larger order here. Keep in mind, this is not a cheap stock. We're talking about a $30 stock. 2,250 shares got sold into here. So you want to pay attention to all that stuff. The ladder is very deceiving many times, in my opinion, especially during bearish times. Exactly, and that's why I said, that the ladder, you can have spoofing, you can have, hidden orders, buys and sells, manipulation, fake pressure. You can have all this crap on the ladder, but you will learn to recognize them, okay? But time and sales never lies. It's 100% truth. It's like that movie, what was it? Liar, Liar with Jim Carrey. Time and sales can't lie. All your information there is all exactly what has just taken place. Okay, so low red numbers on the red side of ladder is very bullish. So, okay, so do you still want me to go over BBIG, Two Kitties, or you're saying that you understand and you don't want to look at it now? So Skibberdoodle has a question. Doc, I have the simulated trading up here on TOS, and I don't see where to bring up the ladder. What menu is it under? Okay, so you're on your trade tab right here, right? Guys, I'm going to stop our recording since we're doing questions here.